Yeah, the word is physical. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Physical. I've been in physical therapy
That's right.
because I'm old and broken.
It's helping though, right?
It is, yeah. It's one of those things. It's a neck and like upper back injury. So it's one of those things of like, it feels fixed until maybe it's not. Like it. What used to happen is it would just all of a sudden, like pinch or something, and then I was in immense pain. So it's hard to tell.
Lovely. Shut up for 1 second. Hey! Welcome to the Overtalking Podcast with your hosts, Ken and CJ. Say hi, CJ.
Hi, CJ.
Stop your griping. This is the show where we talk over TV shows and movies, typically chosen by our guests, but it's just the boys this week. And we're talking about, I bet a bunch of these guys probably got similar injuries. We're talking about Physical 100.
Available now on Netflix.
The Netflix South Korean reality show about very physical people doing challenges and shit. I don't know. It's cool. Check it out. We're going to talk about it.
Some hot jacked people.
Some hot jacked Koreans. And you know what? It's supposed to be global, even though 95% of them are Korean. But,
yeah. There's 2 Americans, 1 American.
I think just 1. I don't know. We'll get into that in a second. But since it's just the boys, let's just shoot the shit. How's it going?
It's going all right. Yeah, I want to talk about stuff I've been watching.
Okay.
So first up, the new Avatar film. Have you seen it?
No, not yet. Way of Water?
Yeah.
Not yet.
Okay.
What did you think?
I thought it was fine.
Okay. I want to guess your number 1 complaint. Can I do that?
Sure.
Too long.
Yeah, I know what it's going to be. No, it's fine. I'm fine with long movies. Okay. Especially, I will give it credit. If you're gonna be over 3 hours long, it's good. They did a good job in that it wasn't all leading up to the like boss fight, essentially. I like that action movies, and I think like Marvel movies have been doing this at least decently, where like you're not just like, here's the enemy, here's the good guy. We're waiting 3 hours for them to fight each other at the end, and that's the end of the movie. So it does a good job of like, no, they kind of like meet up in the first act, in the second act, and then in the third act, which is good. So you're not just like, okay, come on, get on with it. Let's go.
Yeah.
It's very visually cool, which it should be because it cost $1 bajillion to make or whatever. But all in all, I was like, it's fine. It feels like another one that I'm missing something, because I feel like it's been getting good ratings from people. And like, yeah, it's entertaining. It's like a big budget blockbuster, but all in all, it's another Avatar movie. I don't know.
I mean, I think people are just trying to give James Cameron his due because he spent however fucking long on this movie. So, yeah. And I'm sure it was a technical achievement to do again because the first one was, and this is still insane how they're blending CGI and real people and all that stuff. But yeah, I do still want to watch it. It is, an undertaking because of its length.
Right.
Did you watch it in theaters or is it out on demand or something?
It's on demand, yeah.
Okay. All right.
And I will say I did not watch it all in one sitting. I broke it up into chunks.
How many chunks?
Oof, at least 2 or 3.
Okay. How long is it?
It's over like 3 hours.
Over 3 hours. Okay.
Yeah. It's a doozy.
Yeah. I don't know. Got nothing going on this weekend besides housework, so maybe we can do it.
It's a 3 hours and 12 minutes, and it currently has a 76% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's not bad.
Yeah. I think,
it would have been higher.
Me too.
That's kind of a mixed review, actually. Huh.
Jeez, it made $2.315 billion in the box office.
Wow.
And the budget was, Google says, between 350 and 460 million. So
it's
still
not small. So that's good that it turned that big of a profit still.
Made a ton of money.
Wild.
Yeah. I'll be curious to see what the third one is like, because I feel like it's going to be the same, but just like, now we're on this island of the planet and you meet this new people.
Interesting. Okay. I mean, I'm curious. I did like the first one, but I only saw it, I think, the one time in theaters.
Yeah, you should watch it. It's entertaining enough. I think people will have a fun time, but yeah, I don't need to see it again. I'm not gonna give it a rave review, but it is very cool looking.
All right, sweet. Should I go with something I watched?
Yeah.
All right, so I've been watching The Mandalorian. CJ, you don't watch any Star Wars?
Ken,
like
I watch
right?
all of the Star Wars.
Wait, what? You watch Mando?
Not this newest season.
Okay. All right, so I won't spoil anything.
Yeah.
But my general thoughts on the latest season is it is extremely hit or miss with episode to episode of what you are going to watch.
Gotcha.
It's all fine. Well, some episodes are weird and I don't know, less impactful maybe, if I'm putting it nicely. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I kind of have an idea where it's going, but it's just more Mando, you know? We got Baby Yoda, we got Mando, and
the gang's all there.
We got a couple of recurring characters that we know from other seasons, but it's yeah, let me know when you watch it. I'm still a couple episodes behind, so I can't spoil everything anyway, but it's obviously required viewing. What? But before we go on to another one, you don't watch any like the animated Star Wars stuff, do you?
No, but I've heard good things.
I mean, Meg and I just went to C2E2 the other weekend, which I don't even know if we talked about. We just hung out last night. I don't even know if that came up, but
we're friends. We hang out.
That's right. Yeah, this is the first time we've hung out in person. When did the podcast start?
5 years ago.
But anyway. But we went to a reunion of Star Wars Clone Wars, which was like the first animated Star Wars thing. That one, yeah, if you want to like really get into the expanded universe, that one is probably my favorite Star Wars thing out of anything, including the movies and including Mando. It takes a while to kind of like get into it and understand like the pacing of it, because it's like there's like 3 episode arcs of like a story, and it just jumps around a lot.
I did start watching that a year or 2 ago. I was like sick one day and was like, I'm just going to pick a show to like binge while I'm laying on the couch. And I started watching that one, but it was like, I was like, yeah, this is okay. Like, yeah, it did feel like it may, okay. That's good to know. Maybe it takes a bit to get going.
It does. It takes a while for you to appreciate like the world building that it's doing. And that's the coolest part. But it is obviously an undertaking. There's like 7 seasons plus the first movie. Like it's a lot, but it opens up a bunch of other roads because it's over now, and now the like sequel series is called The Bad Batch. Yeah, that's what we're watching right now, which is fine. It's not as good as Clone Wars, but at least it's all just more. It's way more focused on just a group of people.
Gotcha.
So
I think I started watching that as well because I was like, the Clone Wars isn't doing it for me. I'm gonna check out The Bad Batch, and then same thing. I was like, this is okay.
I mean, you'll get, the references for like Ahsoka, right? She's from Clone Wars. She also is in Rebels, which is definitely more aimed at children, but it's still watchable for adults. But I can tell you the Ahsoka series that's coming out is going to be heavily, basically like a sequel to the Rebels show.
Question for you. Have you watched Star Wars Visions?
I have. Those are just are they even canon? I have no idea. I'm not sure. It's just like other artists make like one-off episodes that take place within the Star Wars universe. I'm not sure that they're canon, but they're fun. They're cool. They're coming out with the 2nd season.
Nice. Okay. Would you recommend that?
Yeah, if you just want to have something on, I don't know. They're also very hit or miss for me. They're not my favorite thing.
Gotcha.
I'll say that.
Okay.
But if you know like one of the artists or something, or another anime they did or something, that might be cool to check out their episode of that. Star Wars Clone Wars, I think, is probably my biggest recommendation.
Okay, maybe
or Rebels if you want to get ready for Ahsoka.
Maybe I'll try Clone Wars again.
I can give you I don't want to make this the Clone Wars episode of the show, but really quick, that show jumps around a lot in the timeline. The way we watched Clone Wars was I looked up the timeline order and watch the episodes in that order. They're mostly in order, so it's not that big of a deal, but it helped with understanding what the hell's going on, because the normal episode order is just like the comics that we read. Sometimes they're not in chronological order, and it gets a little confusing. So let me know. I'd love to help guide you through that if you're okay.
Gotcha. Okay. I also, Keanu Reeves is in the news with John Wick 4 coming out. And for some reason in my head, I was like, the movie that gets referenced a lot is Point Break, and I've never seen that. And they did a remake of it in like 2015 or something like that, or 2009, I don't know, later. The remake sucks. Don't watch it. But
that's what I've heard.
Yeah, it's bad. Even just they have like a weird color palette. Like as soon as the movie started, I was like, why does this look like this? This is weird. But so anyway, don't bother with the remake. But I watched the original. It's Keanu Reeves and Gary Busey. Came out in 1999, which is like, I would have loved a sequel with them like 10 years later or like 15 years later of like Keanu and Gary Busey.
Yikes.
I thought it was good. It was okay. To spoil a movie that came out in 1991, it's about these like surfers that are robbing banks, and the sort of big reveal is like, oh, the friends you made trying to learn to surf were the bad guys all along. And it's like, I figured that out in the first like 10 minutes of the movie. Just like, well, yeah, obviously it's him. Like, you're not going to feature this guy unless he's like a big part of the movie. It's definitely him. So that was like, it was kind of funny to then, when they get to the realization, like way later in the movie, to be like, oh no, it's my friend. It's like, yeah, duh.
Did Keanu do that like, whoa thing?
Yeah. Okay, so the movie opens with it's raining, and you see Keanu do like a hair flip in the rain, and then he just cocks a shotgun. It's like, that's your introduction to this character.
Absolutely. I'm on board.
Yeah, exactly.
How
it's
can
like,
it not get any worse?
Yeah. Super sexy young Keanu. It's like, hell yeah. Okay. This is for sure great. Like a 90s movie. Yeah. It's a fun time. It's yeah. I was like, okay.
That sounds good.
I see why
that sounds like a good,
like
a good summer watch, I feel like. Now that it's really warmer weather.
And I feel like it gets referenced a lot, because this is the movie where they put on president masks when they rob the banks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen this, but maybe a long time ago.
Yeah.
But cool.
It was a fun one. And then I watched the remake and was like, this is garbage.
Yeah, I will not be watching that.
Yeah, don't bother.
All right. I'm rewatching Succession, which we've done an episode on.
Yeah, rewatching.
So
damn.
Go back and find that. Yeah, well, the final season is airing now, and Meg kind of wanted to get on board. So rewatching it, because it is that good. It's a very good show. Did you? I can't remember. Did you watched it after? No,
nope.
You didn't. Okay,
nope.
That's the one that got me. I hadn't watched it before the podcast episode, and then that one got me hooked. So thank you to Olivia Cody, I think. Shit, who did that
no,
episode?
Shelby.
Shelby Weaver. Okay, that's right. Thank you, Shelby. That's all I got. Well, then let's talk about Physical 100. Let's get physical in a second on the Overtalking Podcast.
Let's get physical.
It's a pleasure to meet all 100 participants, regardless of gender, age, and race. We have invited you all here to seek the one with prime physicality. From now on, you must compete for survival using only your physical strength. Also, the whole survival process that will take place in here will be broadcast globally. Out of the 100 gathered here, only one will answer our quest for perfect physicality. May you survive until the very end. Physical 100.
Hey, we're back on the Overtalking Podcast. Just the boys. We're talking about Physical 100, the South Korean reality challenge show, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't really know how to describe this.
Fitness show, something? Yeah.
Yeah. CJ, I'm going to put 30 seconds on the clock for you to describe for someone who's never heard or seen Physical 100, which is probably a lot of people, what it's all about. Ready?
I guess.
Go.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
Siri.
Go.
So Physical 100 means there's 100 contestants but they come from all different sorts of physical backgrounds. Some are actual Olympians, some are professional bodybuilders, some are just like, I do CrossFit. One's a model, one's a dancer, one's a baseball player, and they try to whittle down the 100 contestants to see who is the strongest and best, most physical, fit person.
And time. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's the whole show. It is kind of straightforward. It's like the challenge, but if everyone was actually someone and there was no drama ever.
Yeah.
And everyone was very supportive of each other.
Yeah, they are very nice. There's a lot of respect.
This is the Great British Baking Show of reality physical challenge shows.
Yeah. There's this older gentleman that I think he says he's in his 50s or something, and he's an MMA fighter, and everybody is just awestruck to be around him.
That is Chu Sung-hoon. He is apparently very famous.
Yeah.
He looks famous.
Yeah, he had a lot of cool... Yeah, he's very stylish. But yeah, they eventually certain contestants get to choose their opponent, and one guy chose him just to be able to say, I went up against this guy, even though I'm probably going to lose because he's amazing. I want to, go against him just to have that honor.
So we're going to be spoiling this show, just heads up. If you are interested in watching it, or this is already piquing your interest, maybe stop, go watch the series. It's really not that long, and then come back. Before we get into too much spoilers, maybe let's just talk about the ways that we watch this. I watched this subtitled.
Yes.
CJ, you watched this dubbed, right?
Yeah, I watched this dubbed because I literally would watch this while I worked out as sort of a entertainment motivation kind of thing. So I needed it dubbed.
Yeah, everyone there is a physical specimen in some shape or form. So that is awesome. I love that.
Yeah, it worked.
I just can't imagine what it would be like to watch this show dubbed. I don't know if I've ever watched a dubbed reality show before. Have you?
I don't tend to watch many reality shows, so I don't think so. I never watched Squid Game either.
Oh, okay. I watched that. Did I watch that dubbed? No, we watched that with subtitles as well. I don't know why. We usually watch stuff dubbed, but yeah, I know we watch this with subtitles. There's some interesting. Before we get to the content, I just want to talk about the way the show is set up so that people who haven't seen it yet can stop later on in the episode. But there's some interesting things that reoccur with the editing style of this show that I think we've talked about on the podcast before, but I just want to bring it up again. And I can't imagine how they did this with the dub, or if it's just the same thing. But every time because they're doing physical challenges, maybe one-on-one or as a team, and there's some quick moment that is of note, they'll show that moment. And normally with a reality show, maybe they'll do a quick go back 5 seconds and show it again. Mm-hmm. But they also go back with the audio.
Yeah.
And play the audio again. So you hear the audience's reaction 4 or 5 times in a row. And it's bizarre.
Yeah.
It was fine at first, and then it happened the entire show, and a lot. And it's just, I couldn't not focus on that. I don't know.
Yeah, it was pretty obnoxious after a while. You can just show the replay from different camera angles. We don't need to hear the people go, oh, over and over.
So they did they dub the ahs too?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is why I can't understand the dubbing of a reality show. That's wild. Huh.
Yeah, they looped the reaction.
Just play the audio, normal audio, at a normal pace in the background, or have music or something. You don't need to be, I don't know. That's why we at least most American reality shows don't play the audio.
It's a weird editing choice for sure.
Yeah.
I say we run through some of the contestants' occupations.
Okay. Yeah, that's spoiler free, I feel like. That's all in the first episode. So we've done Chu Sung-hoon, who is a former Judoka and MMA fighter. Who else we got?
We have a national team skeleton racer. I believe that was one of the Olympians. And then we also have an Olympic gold medal winning gymnast.
Mm-hmm. The skeleton racer also won gold medal. in the 2018 Winter Olympics.
Yeah, and that dude is just a monster. That's one of the guys that every contestant knows who he is and is like in awe of him. Don't they call him like the monster or something like that?
Oh, yeah, I think so.
They have like
You've
a
seen
nickname
this more
for
recently
him.
than me. Yeah, half the people here are so famous, and it was awesome watching in the first episode everyone like fangirling over each other because they're like, oh, I just watched you on YouTube earlier today. Like, what's a Hoji Tarzan was a famous YouTuber that everyone knew who Tarzan was. And
Yeah.
that was his nickname.
Yeah, we have former special forces soldiers and firefighters.
We have rugby players. We have strongman / car dealers.
Yeah, I forgot about that guy. Yeah, he's a strong man, but keeps referring to himself as like a car dealer.
That's what he does.
This,
He just does the strongman stuff on the side.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
We have a dancer / model, another national team, but bobsledder.
Did we talk about the guy who is a mountain rescue teams person?
No, but yeah, I loved that guy.
Yeah. So it's all different types of physiques, right? Like, that person can climb really well because he's a climber, but the strong man obviously is a thick boy and can lift stuff or whatever. So everyone has their different strengths and body types. And the one body type thing we didn't talk about yet was everyone in the first episode walks in and has to find their plaster-made bust of their torso.
Yeah.
Everyone has their own torso in a plaster bust, and if your bust is intact, you're still in the game. But if you're eliminated, you have to, in a very shameful way, take a hammer and smash your bust to pieces because you are not physical 100 enough to be in this competition. They don't make it that bad, but it is interesting.
Yeah, people do feel like kind of shameful about doing it, or like really don't want, very adverse to doing it.
You were talking yesterday about like some people like just lightly tap on it, because they don't want to do the whole smashing all the way through it, even though that looks way cooler.
Yeah,
I would smash all the way through it.
Same. Yes, I would absolutely either like try to smash it or even just throw the hammer at it. I think would be a lot of fun.
Yes. Missed opportunities, maybe season 2.
Yeah,
we'll see if we're invited out. I've been emailing them incessantly that we are kind of famous in the South Asian community, so we might be a good fit. One of the people that we didn't even talk about was in it is a American baseball player.
Yeah,
who is like 8 feet tall, or at least seemed that way. He's big tall guy. He spoke English actually in the show a little bit.
Yeah, that was a weird thing where I think they still gave him a dubbed voice, even though he was speaking English.
That's so weird. He did speak in Korean or South Korean or what? It's South. What's the language? Am I
Korean.
an idiot? It's Korean, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He was speaking Korean because he plays for a Korean baseball team.
Yeah.
But he would occasionally just say full sentences in English, which was interesting.
Also, as of recording, there hasn't been any word on if it's been renewed for season 2.
Okay.
So fingers crossed that it will be. But yeah. So
I hope so.
Yeah. You want to let's start going through like the quests that they call them,
let's do
aka
it. So
challenges.
This is the part that if you have not watched it yet, we highly recommend you break and come back. All right, spoiler time. Quest 0, the hanging challenge, where they're split into 2 groups of 50 because 100s, it's just too many.
Yeah, too many.
It's
people.
too many. But no one's going to be eliminated right away. This is just to see who kind of gets an advantage in the next round. And the 2 groups of 50 all have to hang on to this large, like, jungle gym apparatus basically thing. And it raises off the ground and they just have to hold on the longest. And that's the whole game.
It's very cool in that they're standing there, this like rafter thing lowers down, they all grab it, and then the floor opens up and there's a pool of water underneath them.
Yeah, that was so cool.
Yeah.
I loved that.
So that when they do fall, they just land in like, I don't know, 3 feet, 4 feet of water kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. No one's getting hurt or anything.
Yeah.
But it was interesting to watch the different techniques that people had for holding on. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't have a lot of room above you, I think, because there's this weird lighting structure that I feel like was a little bit of luck of the draw, whether or not you had that immediately over you or not. Like, I don't know if that was a hindrance for some
Probably a
people.
little hot for sure.
Right, yeah. I know, like, part of it was broken during one of the challenges. Like, one of the lights went out at one point while they're shifting around. But, yeah, some people would put, like, their hang by, like, basically their shoulder, like their armpit, right? Like,
Yeah.
that seemed to give
They'd put the
leverage.
bars under their armpit.
And then they would hold on to their legs over the top of it.
Yeah.
And then that would seem to...
That seemed to be
Those
the
are the
best
people
strategy.
who seem to last the longest, yeah.
But they went for, like, at least, a half hour? Something like that?
It was a long
Longer?
time, which, like, that's got to be really hard to hang on to. Just a bar.
Oh,
for
for
that
sure,
long.
yeah. I can imagine that too, just like cutting off your blood circulation, having that like under your armpit, and like probably lose feeling in your arm.
I remember some people would like pull down one of their arms just to shake it out because they was like totally dead at that point.
How long do you think
wild.
you could last hanging on a bar?
I have no idea. Like we don't have a chin-up bar or anything in our house, so I don't even know the last time I've done a chin-up. But just hanging?
Yeah.
I don't know, probably only like a couple minutes, I'm guessing. I don't know, unless I had a really good position like they did. Maybe I could last a little longer. I don't know. How about you?
Yeah, not very long. I think it's way harder than people think. I think,
Right.
yeah, you're right. That like probably only a few minutes, if
Right.
that. It was then funny seeing like, again, because they're all these, they come from all these different backgrounds. So some dudes are just like a tank, but it's like, well, but you also weigh like 250 pounds. So
Yes.
you're going to lose right off the bat.
Which becomes kind of a recurring theme throughout the show is that because everyone is a very different type of physical stature,
Yeah.
everyone has their like Pokemon effects, right? Like they've got their strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah.
Like they may be very strong and maybe they could hold on to something stationary for a long time, but if you are being supported by a heavy ass body,
Yeah.
that's going to make it harder.
Some of them breathe fire, other electrocute you.
That's exactly right. You don't want to cross. You want to be at a water type to a
Yeah,
leaf
that first
type.
one.
That's all I'm saying. So I have the winners actually. Do we want to fully like get into it? Like I don't know.
I would just go through the quests. I don't want to spoil the
right.
who like wins.
I think that makes the most sense. So that was quest 0. So quest that was just to give you an advantage.
Yeah.
To basically pick your partner or the person you're going to go up against
Mm-hmm.
and the arena in the quest number 2 or 1. I'm sorry, it's 1. We're talking about like coding language here, 0 to 1. Quest 1, which is the death match challenge, where 2 contestants go head to head to basically see who can end after a 3-minute period of time with basically a medicine ball in their possession. There's 2 arenas, right? One is kind of just like a mud wrestling arena.
Yep.
Like you're just gonna be wrestling for the
Just
ball
a little
in that arena.
pit of water in the middle of sand, and that's
Right.
it.
That's pretty much it. And then the other arena is more of it's aimed to be more of like a keep away.
Yeah, it's like a
challenge
jungle
where there's
gym.
like jungle gym. There's like hills of grass and like little tunnels you could crawl through to keep away from another person. I would say both strategies were applied in both arenas. So I don't know. I'm sure they went in. The person who chose the arena, I'm sure, went in with one idea, but things kind of go out the window once you start.
Yep.
Just 2 people going for a ball.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of different strategies where like some people literally wouldn't touch the ball the entire time. They were their strategy was, I'm going to wrestle this person down and pin them so that in the last 5 seconds I have an advantage. I can get up, run over, and grab the ball. And it worked for some people and not for others.
That's not the strategy I would have taken.
Yeah,
personally.
no. I would have done the jungle gym, grabbed the ball, and tried to play keep away and just like run around.
Yeah, but the disadvantage of that is if you don't get the ball within the first 5 seconds of running to get the ball, then you're at a severe disadvantage for the rest of the term.
Yeah, because then we had people that they're like the more tank guys that I keep using to describe them, would just take the ball and go sit in a corner and just kind of like guard the ball and just be like, well, you got to get through me.
You're not getting past me, or you're not getting out of my grip.
Right.
Don't even try.
I weigh 260 pounds. Good luck trying to move me.
Right.
And that seemed to work somewhat for some of them, not so much others.
Yeah. It definitely it depended on your physical stature once again to determine how you approach it. Now, the interesting thing about this one was this section, because there's still 100 people in the game.
Yeah.
And they're eliminating half effectively, right? Because it's 1-on-1. This took forever to get through. Now, I don't know if they showed every single one. I don't think they did.
Probably not.
But it felt too long to me as a viewer, personally at least. I know you feel differently, right?
Yeah, so this is where when I texted you, because I knew you had already like seen all that, and I was like, okay, this show rules. I really like this. The bar thing, it was like, okay, that's an interesting way to sort of give people an advantage or a disadvantage. And then when it got to this, I was like, oh, okay, I see why Ken likes this. This is cool. And I don't think they showed everything. I think I remember them just kind of quickly going through like, they just say, this person's the winner. Okay, next match, these two people, this person's the winner. It was definitely interesting to see the matchups of like certain people literally getting like tossed around. That monster guy we described, the like skeleton racer, basically was unfazed the entire time. Anytime the person tried to like, get on him or tackle him or whatever, he just took like one arm and threw the person off. It's like, good God.
Now, I don't even know if this needs to be specifically called out, but there's men and women in this challenge.
Yeah.
And there were some times where a man chose a woman to go up against.
There was a big theme of sexism, I would say, in the show.
Yeah.
A lot of them talking about like, well, you're a woman, so I'm going to win. It's like, okay, well, maybe we don't have to say that. And because sometimes they lost.
That is right. They did not always win. That also came up later on in some of the other quests that are team-based, where they had to choose teams. It's hard to shy away from that just because this whole game is set up to physicality and specifically strength and like tallness too sometimes comes into play. I don't know. It's tough, and it sucks that it was unfortunately prominently displayed throughout this show.
Yeah. It's just it was the comments of the contestants that got me, of like, them just outright saying like, well, you're worse because you're a woman. It's like, well, that's not true.
Right. You don't know.
Yeah. I think there's just an inherent like macho-ness that comes with these kinds of people too. They're just like,
I'm sure there's a culture of that, right?
Yeah. Like the strongman winner literally just kept saying, well, I'm the strongest person in Korea. It's like, well, you won a contest that is, you could lift one thing that's super heavy up. Like,
right.
I don't know that makes you the strongest. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. You can lift heavy things, but does that make you the strongest?
Yeah. And also, like, I would say, just by looking at you, you're not in great shape, even if you are strong. Like, I don't think you can really even walk very far.
God, who was that other guy who was like didn't have extra baggage or however we want to put it, but his fucking quads were the size of my body.
Yeah.
Like walking alone seemed painful, but in general, he was the most ripped person I have ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Him and his wife. They were both in the competition for a very long time.
Oh, that's right.
They were both insanely ripped people.
His legs are for sure bigger than my head. Absolutely.
Holy cow. All right, we got to move on. Quest number 2, the Moving Sand Challenge, which is, I don't know if that's the best title for this challenge. Basically, people are now split up into teams, as I alluded to before. There were a bunch of team leaders that did they vote on who the team leaders would be? I think that's what it was.
Yes.
Okay. And then the team leader, and then everyone lined up behind who they wanted to be on the team with as the team leader. And then the team leader basically chose out of those people who they wanted on the team. And then the rejects had to go to another team to try to see if they would be chosen for that team. And so, of course, the smallest person ended up with all the unfortunate rejects and had the quote unquote weakest team, but we'll see.
Yeah. I didn't like this part. It felt very much like middle school gym class where people are picking teams and then people are like,
it gave me anxiety.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly.
Let's just get to the challenge. The challenge was 2 teams, right? They have just a pit of sand and some empty bags, and they need to fill up the bags with the sand and make their way across a bridge that is not currently assembled. They need to take the planks from the bridge and attach them. And it's a very interesting attaching process because they're like attached to 2 ropes, and you have to like take these Velcro straps and loop them over the rope and attach it to the underside of the plank and build up the entire bridge so that the people can carry the sandbags across and fill up a contraption. Yeah, something to measure the sand with. That's it. So just whoever within a period amount of time gets the most amount of sand across this bridge that they have to build wins.
Yeah. This looked brutal. People just like pouring
grueling.
sweat.
Yeah, they have to run up a long series of stairs too to get to the bridge to run across. And this bridge would not stay together for 90% of the teams. It would fall apart. People would run across it, but they don't understand that like securing the planks to the rope is not very secure. So it would destroy the bridge.
Yeah.
Very entertaining. I liked this part probably the most out of the entire show.
Really? Okay.
I don't know why, but I do like team challenges, and I think that might be why I liked this a lot.
The team challenges were fun. The next one is they literally had to move a ship, an actual
that was entertaining
ship,
too. Yeah,
like a wooden ship. Use logs to like drag it across sand and up an incline. That looked also brutal.
Now I will say that is not the next challenge though.
Oh right.
There was a revival challenge.
Yeah.
Because there was like a loser's bracket, basically. And this one was hold on to a rope, and at the other end of your rope is your bust.
And hope your bust doesn't get busted.
Right. 5 people hold on the longest get to move on as the surviving team, basically.
Yeah. And I think, in an interest of time, we should end it there for the quests and move on to what we think.
Full ratings?
Ratings! First debating, we know you've been waiting, so now it's time to hear our ratings.
My rating? For me, look, this is a 100. It's a physical 100. It's gotta be, right? Like, how can it not? This was a lot of fun. I liked it a lot. I just hope they have a second season. Like, that's all I can say. It was a lot of fun to watch. It was like The Challenge, which we all know is one of my favorite shows. But with like brand new people in a brand new way, and except no one lives together. The only way this could be better is if everyone lived together for the entire time that they were doing this.
They do get to hang out a lot.
They did hang out a lot. I liked that a lot. That was some of my favorite moments were when they were just hanging out and they were like, hey, who can jump the highest?
Yeah.
Like, let's just see it just for fun. And
that was a fun challenge.
That was great.
That was also incredible. Did not know human beings could jump that high.
I know. Holy cow.
Again,
they jumped,
that monster
higher
dude.
than some of the people that were there.
Like just a straight up, like 4-foot jump.
Right. Just standing jump, not running.
Yeah.
Wild. So yeah, it's a 100 for me.
Wow.
CJ.
For me, I really enjoyed this. I don't tend to watch too many reality shows, but this was very entertaining. It was interesting to see how the teams formed and certain tactics and how they got along. That like the captains of the teams really did become sort of the leaders and instructed people and came up with a game plan. Especially that like older MMA fighter we were talking about. Everyone like looked to him for guidance and stuff.
Yeah.
And I feel like I gave a rating when we did the mini review episode, but I don't remember what it was. But now, talking about it, I really enjoyed this. I think I might give this an 8.5, and really, really hope they make a season 2. Boo!
It's gotta be 100. It's gotta be 100. Come on. There's a number in the title. All right, 8.5. I'll take it. That's pretty good.
It's really good. Yeah. If people are like reality shows, definitely check this one out. It's entertaining to see.
Yeah, for sure. And apparently, if you can't do subtitles, there's a dub option. So
yep. It's on
it
Netflix. And you can watch it at like 1.25 times the speed if you want to kind of churn through the episodes.
Yeah, maybe not with subtitles. That might be more difficult, I feel like.
With the dubbed version, yeah.
Yeah. I definitely check it out. Look, let's get the viewership up on this. Like, we need a second season, so let's get more eyeballs on this and get the socials working.
And next week, we have returning guest Olivia Cody to discuss the movie Super Dark Times.
That's right.
Which you have seen before.
For that. I have seen it before. The times, they're super dark. That's all I can say. A little foreshadowing.
Have never even heard of it.
Okay.
So curious to watch.
It's definitely more of an indie film.
Gotcha.
I have a guess of what you're going to think about it. I'm going to see if it's right next week.
Yeah. Yeah, write it in an envelope and we can reveal it. Like,
we'll seal it. We'll open it on air.
Yeah.
All right. Well, oh no, they're here. Bong! It's the Overtalking Overlords. They have arrived. There are, of course, our ghastly otherworldly landlords. Are you Suborg? No?
No.
Okay.
Do they know Porpo?
Do you know Porpo? No. They don't really seem to all know each other as much as they make it seem. Anyway, they're here to remind me to remind you. If you like the show, please go on Apple Podcasts or Spotify and rate and review. Reviews are to help people find this podcast. Also, we spend no money on advertising, so if you like the show, please tell a friend and spread the word. We'd really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
And as we always say,
let's get eliminated. Bye.
This episode of the Overtalking Podcast was produced by Ken and CJ. Edited by CJ. Music by Justin Peters. Logo by Nate Richards. Check out Nate's work on Instagram at Nate Richards Designs.